Hi, it's great to have you here today. Today we'll be discussing creating a digital monthly budget. And this is part 2 of our series, and I am Kelly Fountain. This is brought to you by Trails Regional Library. We're now going to talk about creating a digital budget. So there are many benefits to creating a budget on your computer. Spreadsheet programs can allow for quick changes to a series of auto calculations, and they will auto calculate for you. And you can sort output data in a variety of ways. So you can sort things by due date, you can sort things by vendor. There's a lot of things that you can do or have the program automatically do. There are two main spreadsheet programs. These are Microsoft Excel and Google Sheets. Microsoft Excel has certain advantages. It's very robust for accounting and creating charts. It will extrapolate on all sorts of data to make pie graphs or line charts. And it's just really fascinating, the amount of functions and variables and different types of math program type things you can work into an Excel spreadsheet. Now, Google Sheets have their own advantages. Google Sheets is free to anybody who has a Gmail account. It's readily accessible through the cloud, and a person can interchange easily between devices, so they can bring up their Google Sheets easily on anything that has their Gmail. They don't have to, and since it's internet-based, it will just stream along with them. There are some Microsoft Office home or personal programs that will allow you to do the same things now. And those can be a little bit confusing because each version of a Microsoft product or Office product is specialized. They've got a student, a personal, a home suite, an office business suite. And if you're used to just there being one version, that could be a little confusing, but they're trying to be more accessible to the internet also. So today we're going to learn about using Google Sheets. So we're going to now do step 3, which is creating a budget in Google Sheets. So I've got some slides I'm going to work through and demo through. So the first thing we're going to want to do is log into your Google Drive. So I, right now, have my Google Drive up. I have my email up. And over here in this upper right corner is this, all these dotted things. This is the Google Apps icon. And if I click on that, I can go to the Drive icon. Looks like a triangle. And this is going to bring up a new screen. All right, so here we are in Drive, and I can go over to this new button here. And if I click on it, I will get this drop down that has some pop-ups. So the second one on there is Google Sheets. And if I hover over to this arrow, I have two choices. I can create a blank spreadsheet, or I can work from a template. If you've never looked at a template before, it's worth looking into, but for now, today, we're going to work with a blank template. So once this loads, we're going to name the file. And I want to name it monthly budget. And so to name the file, I'm just going to click where it says Untitled Spreadsheet at the top. And I can hit the backspace key to delete what's in those fields. And then I can just type monthly budget. So later on, I can use this template and fill it in and call it October monthly budget, just so long as I have a base one to start from, I can rename it later. So later I could say, make a copy, and then I could name that copy October, November, December, January, just whatever month it is, that month's budget. So the first thing we're gonna do is just in this first column here, let's just type monthly budget. This is later gonna become my header. But for right now, we're just gonna leave it in this A1 square. It's A, columns across are the alphabet, and the columns going down are numbers. So that's A1. I'm gonna skip this second whole row, and I'm gonna go down to my A3. And in A3, I'm gonna type in date. And then I can tab over into my B3. And in my B3, I am going to type name. So this is going to be the name of what the bill, who the vendor is, right? And then on the last one, I'm going to type amount. So those are the three main categories I'm going to work with today. And as we've talked about already, we've talked about how we need to put our monthly budget in order by due dates. So I'm going to start off with some name categories. And the first one I'm going to start off with is payroll. So that'll start us off with money in our account. And then I'm also going to add some categories that don't have to do with income, that have to do with expenditures. The next one I'm going to add is electric. And I'm just hitting the down arrow, or you can use the mouse and click into the square to move down. And then I'm going to just type in one for mortgage. And then I'm going to type in one for water. And then I'm going to type in internet. Okay. So those are some of my beginning expenses, okay, and my payroll, okay. So my payroll is going to be a positive number, and then these will all show up as negative numbers. So we're going to go back to the slideshow for a moment, so we can go over some of that type of stuff. So we've worked through these processes so far. We talked about the date category. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about amounts. Like I said, your balances will start with a current balance. That could be your balance in your checking account. If you're starting a new checking account with a new job, that would be your first payroll. So whatever your current balance is, plus your payroll deposit, that's where you will get that first starting positive number. And then, like I said, the bills will occur as negative numbers. So the next thing to think about is when your payroll or other income cycle is going to occur. So some people get paid once a month, some people get twice a month payments on the first and third Fridays usually. Some people get twice a month on the 1st and the 15th. You could be getting your payments once a week, every Friday. Some places I worked, you've got them every Monday or every Wednesday of the following week. It just depends. Whatever that cycle is, know that cycle. We already talked about having that cycle written down in your budget calendar. I just put little money signs on that day that I'm going to get paid, and I know I'm going to make the same amount every payroll because my hours are the same. If your hours are different, that it would be a good idea to write down what your payroll is from month to month for every pay cycle. Other income is other incoming sources of money. So these could be freelance work payments. It could be money from the sale of something. It could be Social Security deposits. It could be retirement deposits. It is any other revenue or source stream that you want to include in your budget and that you rely on for your expenditures. So your income tax returns, your state tax return, your federal return. Another thing to think about, some of the stimulus payments that have come in. Maybe you had a garage sale and you earned some money that way. Maybe you sold a car, or maybe you sold something on Amazon or eBay, anything that you want to add in that's substantial enough that you want it to be part of your monthly budget, you can add in as positive income. So now we're going to talk about the beginning of the month bills, weeks 1 and 2. We're going to focus on that. So we've already put some of these values into our spreadsheet. And now we're going to go through and we're going to format the spreadsheet a little bit to make it look more appropriate. And then we're going to add in some dates. And then we're going to go ahead and add in some amounts. And we're going to add some of those in as positive and some of those as negative amounts. So here I am back at my spreadsheet. So the first thing I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and drag some cells and highlight some things that I want to put in bold. So I'm going to put these here in bold. And I feel like my spreadsheet's awful tiny. I'm going to grab most of the cells that I'm going to be using, and I'm going to bump the size up to 12 points. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to take this monthly budget and make it my header row, and I'm going to merge it across these cells. The Merge Across Cells button is located right here in the middle. If you hover, you can find it. It looks like some brackets with some arrows facing in on the middle. And I'm just going to click on that and go to Merge All. Now that has made it so I'm centered across this area here. And if I wanted to, I could go up to font size now, maybe make it a little bigger since it's a header. So I made it 14-point font. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on some borders. And I want all these cells to have individual borders. So I've dragged to select this area. And right by Merge Cells is this Borders option button. And if I click on it, I can get a pop out. And from this pop out, I've got the All Borders selection. And I'm going to click on that. And that puts borders around my whole selection. If I click in one of these white squares, that unselects that area. Now you can see they're ready to be filled in with date columns and amount columns. And that is what we are going to work on in our final video, Finalizing the Digital Budget, Part 3.
That's all the time we have today. To summarize, for today's presentation, we learned the following: how to organize our income and expenditures, and how to do a basic budget layout. Next time, we will learn how to input income and expenditure numbers and how to use basic functions like AutoSum. If you have any questions, you can contact me at fountaink@trailslibrary.org. We hope you enjoyed today's presentation. Thanks for watching. Also, be sure to check out our final video in the series, Finalizing a Digital Budget. Thank you.